running with bruh. Even though we did the wrong thing, my life would've been a lot different if I fell up under Rob's tree. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. Now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas. Not knowing that them handcuffs custom made the friends. That what wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a struck anger. I didn't fear when I walked past. In a place where a black man's blood is cheap. I thank the Lord for the day I was on Lake Street. Pissing in a cup, back and forth to court, flown to DC school. I swear it felt like I cried on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50, what's gonna come to pass? The Lord called me out the word, that's how I run it fast. All it was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. It should be paid until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck the grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was real as a righteous man. And now got the upper hand, gotta promote this brand. Correct whole multitudes until they all understand. If I can't get that crown, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone more mighty make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jail. Shit, I needed help. But Swan was locked up in the jails, but man on the shelf. Had me crying 'cause it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody but Muhammad. 'Cause most these niggas lie and pop smoke. One time for the most high, he made me a cutthroat. 'Cause all I ever wanted was to smash my opponents. Stack the cash, not knowing it wouldn't.
Hey, you gotta play that Yard.
Yard
has a song?
I doing the ball.
Oh yeah,
Are you got it?
I was like, what the hell? You already called me and tell me?
Oh yeah, I was gonna get that
I wouldn't be surprised if he came out with a song.
Hey, Ayar, he should, man.
Yeah, like that gangster beat,
already have
that
it.
lowrider beat.
Yep. Ayar should already have something out there.
Yeah, he's straight cholo.
He's waiting for that banda to hit.
That bro's straight. It's crazy. He needs to come out here, man.
Ayar needs to come out here, huh?
Yeah, motherfucker, yeah. You're a trooper, right?
Yeah.
Been a trooper for a minute.
He likes Oregon, though.
Our school is close to Oregon, right? We also, right?
Within the district, yeah.
Hey, so Rialto,
Coming up. Pass me those keys right there.
hey, so Rialto is close to Oregon? I don't know.
Rialto's right here, huh? San Bernardino.
You mean that liquor store called Oregon?
Army Corps State Director of Press Operations, Pentagon.
I just want to see my enemies fall.
Findings.
Yeah. Hey, look, I just want to bow. So my niggas stand tall, cause we about to go and get it out. Nigga, I just want to bow. Look at them 20s while they crawl. I've been praying that my enemies fall. Nigga, I just want to bow. And I hope you bow too. And they be right, gotta keep it true. Nigga, I just want to bow. Just give me what I'm due. Let my enemies see the living proof. Look. I just want to bow. Trying to build my own city, homie. Enough room to put my niggas on it. Just start a couple big
live already on YouTube? Oh, we are? Okay, that's what's up. I didn't know that. Alright, with the ISUPK coming out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York City. This is the Cali camp out here, California, breaking it down. You know what I'm saying? Every Wednesday right here, we got the Inconvenient Truth, La Verdad Incomoda, bringing that, you know, Latin history and that history of all the 12 tribes, man. Put it down right here. That's what it really is. And, you know, as always, man, we out here for our brothers and sisters that are important to save our people. You know, trying to look for, you know, insignificant, you know, certain things about the 12 tribes. That ain't doing anybody any good. So that's why we've decided to come out here and help bring back the dead. You know what I'm saying? The Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. We're the ones being shot on the street. We're the ones being discriminated on. We're the ones being locked up in cages. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of beef going on out there about who is and who's not. And, you know, man, I'm going to say it. Canaan and Mexicans not being Israel and all this nonsense. These are people who don't understand the Bible. That's why it's very simple. If you ain't in the ISUPK, you're just not in the truth.
Also, if I could, sir, if you believe that Latinos ain't the Israelites of the Bible, along with the Puerto Ricans and everybody else, make sure you tune into the CHAAZAQ lecture. He's going to be going into that, and he's going to prove, you understand, that we are Israelites. The Northern Kingdom is Israel. You understand? That's going to go on next month, around the 25th, right? Around there? That's the Midwest Cookout in Chicago, man. Fire Weekend. Check that out as well. You understand? Go to ISPK.com. You understand? They're going to have a cookout out there. They're going to have a lecture. We're going to have camp. You understand? It's going to be a fire weekend, like they said. You understand?
Oh yeah, man. And then we had Deborah Moth out here, Captain Deborah Moth, Musa in Christ. Y'all about Shimmy Adawan, the water for coming out here and visiting, you know, all the Akim out here in California. And definitely, man, show props, man. We gotta go out there and represent for our Chicago brothers out there, man. Because the UPK is we're everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We're everywhere. We're gonna have a camp in UPK, and then Dallas is coming up, isn't it? Then we got one in Dallas too, in Texas.
Right.
They got a cookout coming out too, man. That one's gonna be heavy. And then, of course, right after that, you know, you got us out here in California. We're gonna have a cookout. We inviting everybody to come out here as always and join us for, you know, the Cali cookout. Come out here and enjoy some sunshine in California. You know what I'm saying? And your brothers out here, because UPK, man, we out here not only to bring our brothers together, but to show the brotherhood that's involved in the UPK.
Or
you know what I'm saying?
After Chicago, which is from July 25th to the 28th, is New York.
Oh, New York.
August 29th. And then it's us out here in Cali, September. And then it's Houston. Houston's on the 10th of October. So, you know, those are the dates.
Okay, that's what's up, man. We got those dates. Lock them in. Put them up. And remember that, man, we're going to be out here. We're going to be out here in Cali. We're going to be out in the West Coast and the East Coast. And we're just going to be out there, you know, setting the camps on fire. Setting it on fire, man. That's our goal. To set America on fire with this whole, oh, shoot. It's Salakia. Set it on fire, man. That's our whole purpose of this. To let people know, the Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, you know, and we out here, you know, to bring us together. You know what I'm saying? To bring everybody together, make sure that that we are, you know, recognized by across the nation. You know what I'm saying? We got a great show today, man. You know, we just we seen that America just celebrated their what is that? Independent? I'm sorry. They just celebrated their Memorial Day. You know, the Memorial Day is something that America's just in love with, man. You know, celebrating this Memorial Day. All right, let me get this together. Here we go. All right. Okay, so let me see. Let's test everything. Make sure we're running. We got on a little early today. Yeah, we got America celebrating their Memorial Day weekend. You know what I'm saying? But we're here to let you know that that Black, Hispanics, Native American Indians, man, we shouldn't have anything to do with Memorial Day.
Right.
We shouldn't have anything to do with these people's armies.
That's right.
We shouldn't have anything to do with any of this stuff because we have never benefited from any of the wars that America has been involved in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I get people who say, well, your freedom, go and try to speak like that in another country. Man, we can speak like that in Mexico. Mexico has uprisings all the time. Central America, we're allowed to speak like this too. We're allowed to give our opinions. We're allowed to, stand up for our rights, stand up for what we believe in, stand up against oppression. And America is the same thing, man. We, no different than any other place. They think that America is special, that it's the only place you can speak out. Now, man, you see Venezuela, people are marching in the streets in Venezuela. They have the right to march. You know what I'm saying? They got the right to go out there and speak up against what's happening to them. And that's the same thing that's happening in America. We have the right. That's a human right to be able to speak up and talk about the oppression and the things that are happening to us. You know what I'm saying? It's no different. Nowhere in any place in the world, it's no different. Yeah, you got places like China that heavily oppress their people. You know what I'm saying? But as for us, we're here and we're here to speak up about what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Everything good out there? Acting crazy out there. The water for closing that up. All right. Remember, we're on Facebook too, so don't forget to tune into Facebook. If this goes out, we're in the Facebook page. Catch us on there. We on Facebook Live. You know what I mean? So let's see. Let's go here. And let me see if there's a public broadcast here. I don't know how to check to see if it's a public broadcast. Let's see. Give us 1 second here. We're getting started here. Supposed to be in broadcast. Well, I guess this is it, huh? All right. Anyway, so let's try this again. Oh, damn. Man, what happened here?
Everything's good?
Yeah, no, mine is the one that logged me off for a second. Okay.
Are you logged into this right?
Yeah, I think I am.
The extender? The one with the EXT at the end?
Let me see. It's not showing me that thing. Okay, there we go. Let me see. Links extended, huh?
Yeah, the one with the EXT
Okay,
at the
that's
end.
what it was. Now let's see. Okay, now it's on. All right, now we're good. All right, we're the ISUPK coming out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York City. This is coming out of California. This is the Cali Camp. And we are Cali Kings out here putting it down, giving out all the truth out here for the Black, Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We're every Wednesday, the Inconvenient Truth. And we're here to bring out that truth that you don't hear of in school or anywhere else. We got that truth that's going to hurt, but it's going to be what it is. You know what I mean? We're here. We show no mercy. We're out here because we got to be out here. We're out here showing this show every Wednesday because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? We're going to speak up for our kids. We're going to speak up for that generation that's coming behind us, those that will be born without blemish. Our goal is to wake up our people, Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. and let them understand that what's happening to us today has been happening to us throughout history. And if we don't speak about it, who will speak about it? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Salina Mendoza. Oh man, it's still going on and off. Let me see. There it is. All right. Shalom Israel, Salina Mendoza, Zarawai, IR, Yasharala,
It's like YouTube is frozen.
Talamayad. Is YouTube frozen? Yours too?
The YouTube is.
Yeah, see, we're having some Asian. Oh, okay, no sweat. I'm gonna continue though. I'm gonna continue. All right. You know what? Let me log off this and go. Give us a second, man. Give us a second. They got us out here with this nonsense, but we're gonna transmit anyways. All right. Sarwai, Yahweh Shim Yahweh Shabrakata. Man, that brother straight out of Hawaii, always on class, checking in. Man, Most High in Christ. I was with that brother at the Passover where he got his name, man. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's strong brotherhood right there. If you don't know what's going on, you need to join the ISUPK and, you know, become part of what's going on here. You know, speak up for our people because it's necessary. All right, let's see. Is that back on? I don't see it.
On YouTube?
Yeah, you got to jump that YouTube back on. I think it's not going out. I'm gonna jump on it. All right. Salaki, everyone. We're trying to get it. We're trying to get in touch here. We're adding some little bit of this and that here and there. You know what I mean? So let's see what's going on. Anyways, let's continue. Today we got a great show. You know, we just finished America just finished celebrating what they call Memorial Day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody went out there. They had the barbecues. You know what I'm saying? America gave you the day off for you can go out and celebrate Memorial Day. You know what I'm saying? Says, they gave you the day off where you can go and celebrate Memorial Day. They give you the rest because they choose the days that you can have off. They choose the days that they want you to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. They make sure that you celebrate their days, not the days that are necessary for you. Like they don't give you our high holy days off. They didn't give you what was it? Salaki. Let me get on this because Salaki, everybody. We're still logging in. Something happened. They booted us off. So bear with us for 1 second. Let me see. I want to make sure that we're on the YouTube. Don't forget we're on the YouTube channel, so tune into us with the YouTube channel. Okay, here we go. Okay. And so they give you the days off that they want you to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to give you the important days. They're not going to give you the Passover. They're not going to give you the Feast of Unleavened Bread. They're not going to give you the high holy days that the Lord has asked us to celebrate.
Right.
They ain't going to give you those days off. What they're going to do is they're going to give you the days that they have, the days that are important to them. And Memorial Day is an important day for the white man. You know what I'm saying? That's an important day for them. You know why? Because that day to them is like one of the greatest days when they went out and they served. You know, Americans served. You know, for this country, for the freedom of this country. But the reality is, you know, blacks went and served in World War I, and they came back to be discriminated in America. Right. Hispanics served in World War I, and they came back to be discriminated in America.
Right.
Then blacks served in World War II, and Hispanics served in World War II, and the Native American Indians served in World War II, and we still came back to discrimination in America.
Right.
And then we served in the Korean War. We fought supposedly for freedom in America, and we still came back to America to be treated as second-class citizens.
Right.
We still came back to America to be treated as if we don't belong in this country, as if this country was not for us. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then they want you to forget. They tell, well, you know, you shouldn't, you know, That's no big deal. You know, you should put it to the side. Forget about that. But still today, our brothers and sisters served in the Afghanistan war. They served in the war for Iraq, and they still came back to be deported and still discriminated on here in America. We're serving a country that hates us. Who's got a precept? Go ahead.
So, Jeremiah chapter 49 and 15.
And this is what the Bible is telling us about why we continue doing this and why we haven't got it straight, because we're not following what the Bible tells us. Read.
Jeremiah 49 and 15. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men.
So we're despised among these men. Let me tell you something. When our black brothers and sisters and our Hispanic brothers and sisters and our Indian brothers and sisters were in the fields of Vietnam, they were being despised by the white soldiers. In World War II, they held them as if they were second class to them. They could not be trusted. Discrimination on the field was evident everywhere and common against blacks during World War II. You know what I'm saying? And it was something that they couldn't get past. Continue reading.
Shalaki. I got another precept, sir.
Go ahead.
It's Isaiah 60 and 14. It reads, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. Oh, Shalaki.
And let me tell you what happens is that we serve in the military for America, and it has not changed the position of how they see us. It has not changed how they view black Hispanics and Native American Indians. Man, let me tell you something. A lot of us have uncles or cousins or family that have served in the military in America, and yet our people are still discriminated on. Our people are still seen as useless, you know, people who don't have rights, even though they're serving in the military. They're useless servants is a good way to put them.
Right.
Useless servants.
Right.
Even though you're serving, there is nothing good about what you're doing. Even though you went to the Korean War and you attempted to make, you know, because every Hispanic soldier, every black soldier, every Native American Indian soldier that went and fought in these wars, they weren't fighting for themselves. They were out there fighting to prove that all blacks, all Hispanics, and all Native American Indians were worth something in America. They went out there to prove that we're not just anybody, that we're a nation of people that can help to make this nation better and stronger. And they did. But no matter what they did out there, no matter how many lives were taken, black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, we still came back to America to be treated as if we were useless, as if we were a problem in America. We were still getting deported. We were still getting shot and killed. We were still being arrested by the numbers. They still incarcerated us. They still treated us as if we were nothing.
Right.
They still treated us like that. We're fighting undeclared wars to us because these are not our wars. We didn't start Vietnam. We didn't start the Korean War. We didn't start the goddamn World War I or World War II. We didn't start these wars. But Hispanics and blacks and Native American Indians were on the front lines of these battles. And the reason that this class is coming up today is because, you know, they're making us celebrate these holidays. They're making us celebrate Memorial Day. You go, man, and it's you know, you have no choice. You go out there to the store and they're selling American flags everywhere. You know, they're having the Memorial Day sale. Get everything on sale today. You know what I'm saying? The white man telling you, hey, have a nice weekend, a nice Memorial Day weekend. You know, what is so nice about us coming back to be discriminated on after we went and served in the military after we went and served in these armies. And let me tell you, I tell you because close to me is someone who served in the Vietnam War. He served as an MP, right? He served in the medical field. And he himself told me that the majority of people that he was picking up were all black and Hispanics. When they were sending military soldiers to walk point into the jungles of the Vietnam, the people that were those that were walking, the soldiers that were walking point, were black and Hispanics. They were being sent to walk point. They were the guinea pigs in this war. They were the ones that were going out front line to make sure that the white man wasn't getting ambushed, that they were not going to get killed, but they were. Blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indian. Black man, we strong soldiers. Hispanic man, we strong soldiers. Even now, here in the work that we're doing for the Lord, we strong soldiers. We'll go out, we're walking point, because we're going out in the streets and speaking up against our enemy. That's walking point. It takes a lot to go out there and do that job. That's not for anybody. Nobody does that. I'll tell you why. Because the first thing people are going to say is, man, you wouldn't catch me out on the street doing that. That's crazy. Well, you know, why are you even doing that? They're embarrassed to do that. They don't have the heart to go out on the street, to camp, and hold up and speak about what's happening to our people. That's point. Today, that's our point right there. We're walking point when we go out there every Saturday and stand up and speak against our enemy and what they've done to the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. So when our soldier brothers were in Vietnam, when our soldier brothers were in World War I, World War II, Korean War, all these wars that we fought for this country in America, you know what? Our soldiers were the first ones out and the first ones to die. That's who our soldiers were. You got a precept? I want that precept that says that we get nothing from serving these people. And that's what it is, that we get nothing from serving a nation that hates us, a nation that despises us. You know what I'm saying? The Useless Soldier is a book written by Ronaldo Hinojosa. It's a great book. And what it does, it's capturing the pointlessness of a war, of the Korean War that had nothing for us, nothing for black or Hispanics. We still came back with the horrors in our minds of what our brothers and sisters were going through in this undeclared war in a country. I mean, you know what, let me tell you, the Koreans weren't calling my brothers niggas. The Koreans weren't calling my brothers wetbacks. The Koreans weren't calling my brothers savages. The white man was calling our people these names. And yet we still went out there and fought for them. And it was a grisly war that was out there. And we were still going out there to try to fight this. We're useless servants. We're servants that go out and fight for a country that continues to despise us and hate us, and continues to see us as second-class citizens, and continues to discriminate against us. Even today, to this day. Racial discrimination, police brutality, you know, every time we came back from a war, that's what we were facing. That's what came. Who's got the precept? Go ahead and read it.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 4. O Lord Almighty, thou God of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and of their children. We have sinned before thee, and not hearkened unto the voice of thee, their God.
So, do you have a precept that he wanted?
That's not the precept that I asked for.
Oh,
So let me tell you what happens is that we out there, we fighting, we coming back, we fighting in these wars out in the field, and we're coming back to fight another war here in America. A war against, you know what? Against discrimination. Unionized discrimination. Because that's what it is. Unionized discrimination. You know why unionized? Because these people gather and they make up laws. They make up laws and statutes that come against black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. One of the laws that was out there, it was very simple. Black people could not buy property in certain areas. That's a law they passed. They came up with we don't want white people in our neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? That right there, we don't want black, Salakia, we don't want black people in our neighborhoods. That's a law that they're passing against us. That's a law that they're bringing out that shows that, you know what, white people, they don't want you here. They don't want you. They don't want you in America. And if you got that picture, it's one of the women, and it says as long as they don't live next door. And I'm gonna show. I'm gonna bring it out here. So we came back to stuff like this. This is what we came back to. And we still see it today. Today, this is prevalent in America, where they don't want you moving next door to them. They don't want you in the neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? When you try to rent a house in America, man, you better get ready to give up 3 times the amount of the rent. You better get ready to be able to find yourself in a neighborhood where there's no white people, because they don't want you in the neighborhood. And this that you're seeing here is after the war. We came back from the war in the 1940s. We came back to this. As long as they don't move next door, keep this neighborhood white. You know what I'm saying? That's their ideology. You serve, you go die in their wars, and this is the way they greet you. This is the way they see you. This is what they expect from you. You know what I'm saying? And the precept I want is the one that says, we have helped the nation.
That's one more. Lamentation 4:17.
Lamentation 4:17. And this is what we came home to. We came home to the discrimination of not even being able to have a house. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that, you know, and that's what we said, 19 what?
This is 1940s, right after the war.
Right after the war. And that's the same thing happening in 2019.
God.
You know, our people go and fight in the wars. Like Hispanics go fight in the wars. They go to Iraq and Iran and everything like that in the Middle East. And what do they come back to? They get deported.
God.
You know, they're going fighting for America, fighting for a nation. You know, thinking that they're gonna get a green card or citizenship. You know, not only for themselves but for their family. So they go out to the wars and they fight. You know, they're sacrificing their lives. You know, because America told them that they would have citizenship, and what happens? They get deported. I mean, that's the way the white man feels about us. You know, he has no compassion. You understand? And that's sad for the brothers that actually believe that believe they're gonna get citizenship, because you know that's the whole reason why they're going out to sacrifice their lives, because they're trying to get out of Mexico, they're trying to get out of El Salvador, and then they go right back. You understand? That's all I was gonna say.
And not only that, but in America, you know, you got black brothers that are going out there and fighting a war. And like I said before, they're not only fighting a war, they're not going out there to fight a war from themselves. You know, a lot of these brothers, even today, they got that mentality that, you know what, if I join the police force, I'm gonna help my black brothers.
Yeah.
You know, if I join politics, I'm gonna help my people. These soldiers, when they went out there, they did the same thing. They said, if I go out and fight in this war, that'll help black people be accepted by white people. When Mexicans went out and fought that war, they thought, I'm going to go fight this war and I'm going to help my people in America, because you know why? They're going to accept us because we're part of this nation. We're going to help this nation grow. And they're going to see us the way they see themselves. But this is what they came back to. Stuff like this. Stuff like this is what happens when we try to join a nation that does not love us. When we try to show a nation that just doesn't have any compassion for our people. You got that? You got that precept? Go ahead and read it.
Lamentations chapter 4 verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Not for blacks and Hispanics. You're out fighting for the freedom of white people. You're out trying to keep white people free. You're out there trying to make America great for them. You ain't making America great for yourself. You ain't fighting for someone to say, you know what? Now you can be accepted. Now you can live in our neighborhoods. Now you can wash drink water from our drinking fountain. No, man, that's not what you came home to. Go ahead.
Salakia. And if you knew the truth that the white man is the devil and his true nature, you wouldn't even want to share a damn pound with him. Or
Damn right, damn right. But you know, you went out there and you fought for these people. You went out there and tried to do the best to help all your people to be accepted by people who have a perpetual hatred for you.
Right.
You got that precept? You went out and served a nation of people who have a perpetual hatred for you. Let me tell you something. Our people from the barrios went out during the 50s and the 60s. And you know why the barrios? Because when they went out to recruit, they went out to the barrios to recruit. They went out to the ghettos to recruit. That's where they went out to recruit. We didn't walk into their places and say, hey, let me go and join. No, man. They went out and they found us. Go ahead.
So like if I could, that's why a lot of our people are getting to the Marines. You know what I'm saying? The Marines, their motto is the first to fight.
Right.
Just like what you were saying, that they go on walking point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why they go recruit. That's why they go to the neighborhoods and recruit our people into the Marines. You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody has that idea that the Marines are the hardcore ones, because they know that they're known to go in the first to fight.
Right. So I'm gonna read this. I got this paper that I want to read. It's called the Medal of Honor Recipients. And the reason why I'm bringing this out is because a lot of our people went out to fight for these countries. There's a report from the U.S. This is by Fox News too. Okay, this is a Fox News. That's why I chose this one, because it's Fox News. But let me get to the point, because I don't want to go through all this. We're out here fighting in World War I, World War II. We're out here. Our people are out here fighting for equal rights, because that's why they're going out there, to see if maybe they'll have some goddamn compassion for us and give us equal rights. And I'm gonna let you read this, Commandant. Go ahead and grab that and read that right there.
Come on. In December 1946, President Truman ordered the creation of the President Committee of Civil Rights.
So let me tell you something. World War II ended in 1945, ain't that right? Somewhere around there. In 1945, he had to create a committee in 1946, a year later, after blacks and Hispanics went out there and fought in this war. That he still had to go out there and try to create some committee to bring some kind of justice for black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Continue reading.
Come on. Which looked at the service of African American men and women in World War II.
So you're talking about black men and black women. Now right here they're leaving out the Hispanic. But guarantee you that side by side, blacks and Hispanics were fighting this war. Continue reading.
Come on. Its findings disproved the post-World War I colleagues study that had declared African Americans unfit to serve.
So let me tell you, he's talking about World War I. Read that one more time.
Come on. Its findings disproved.
So its findings, that means they did a study. Their colleagues, white colleagues, got together and did a study. And you know what they're disproving here? What did they say?
Disproved the post-World War I colleague study that had declared African Americans unfit to serve.
So black people went out, Hispanics went out and fought in World War I, and when they came back, they decided that black and Hispanics were not what?
Were unfit.
Were unfit to what?
To serve.
To serve. That means that after you went and died in World War I, your grandma, your grandpa, your family's dying in World War I, the white man still thinks you're unfit.
Right.
Still thinks that when you came to America, you were still not worthy of any kind of rights. Even though you went out and died in the fields of World War I. Your ancestors gave their life out in the field, but they still thought you were just a nigger, that you were just a wetback, that you were still a savage, a spick. To them, you were still nothing to them. Continue reading.
Come. They also stated officially what was already widely felt. Black Americans did not enjoy the freedoms and liberties
that they had fought and died to, so like to grant to others around the world.
So they what? They died for what?
So like
To be granted freedoms. That's what they, that, you know how we were saying that black said, I'm going to go fight like that my people can be free.
Right.
And that's what he's stating here. He's stating that even though you went and died, you still weren't going to be allowed to get those freedoms that other people got around the world. You were still a slave in America. Even though you went out and fought in the war of World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and all these wars, even Iraq and Afghanistan.
Right.
You're still coming here to America and being treated like a wetback,
Right.
like a nigger, like a spick. You're still these people to them. They still see you as the same. You know what I'm saying? You got more?
Oh, that's it on that, sir.
Okay. You're still against them. Read this right here from the top. They still see you the same way. Read.
On Khan. With the war against two of the most racist regimes in history won, hundreds of thousands of black service members return home with expectations of a more tolerant nation.
So they're fighting the Germans. They're fighting the Chinese, the Japanese, and the Germans, two of the most racist people out there. And they're thinking they're going to come back to America and they're going to be treated right. Let me tell you something. Probably the Germans treated them better than the Americans did. Probably the Japanese treated these soldiers with more respect than the white people in America did. You know why? Because at least out there, they considered them soldiers. Here they came back to their neighbors, seeing them as niggers and wetbacks and spicks. After you fought for that man living next door to you. After you went and you tried to rent a house from the man that you died for or killed for his freedom. You killed for that landlord to be able to own that property. You killed Germans, you killed Japanese, you killed all these people that were out there, trying to take away the freedom of America. But yet when you came home to this country, you were treated like, you know what I mean, with racism. Go ahead.
It's like, so wasn't CHAAZAQ in the Vietnam War?
CHAAZAQ was in Vietnam.
If I could, I'm about to prove what you just said about that they treated us better than people in America. Because when CHAAZAQ said when he was in a war, he was in the field, he said a Vietnamese man told him, this ain't your war.
God.
And that Vietnamese man didn't do no harm to CHAAZAQ.
Right.
So that's a true statement we just said.
That's true, and that was a thing that was prevalent in Vietnam, that the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, were spreading propaganda for the black people, and the propaganda they were spreading were pamphlets, and the pamphlets were stating, black man, this isn't your war. Right. Black man, we're not calling you a nigger. Black man, you're going to go back to your country and be discriminated on. And it was giving blacks and Hispanics in Vietnam a second look at what they were doing out there. And a lot of them stopped fighting that war. A lot of them turned against their high-ranking officers because they were like, you know what, I'm not going to walk point for you no more. You got us walking point. We're dying out here, and you white people ain't doing this walk point. You're making us do it. And the Viet Cong got a whole new idea. You know what? Let's spread propaganda. And this propaganda was a psychological war for the black and Hispanic. And the black and Hispanic started thinking about that. God damn, they right. You know, no Vietnamese ever called me a nigger. No Vietnamese ever called me a wetback. You know, why am I going to kill this man for the man who's really calling me a nigger and a spick and a wetback and a murderer and a rapist and all this? Right. You know what I'm saying? We're out here fighting a war for those who hate us.
So the Vietnamese didn't give a damn about it. They just said that to win the war.
The Vietnamese came up with a plan on how to help, but their plan was true.
Was to win.
Yeah, their plan was to win, but they found within their ranks, they found a propaganda that was true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This that they were telling them, like, we ain't calling you a nigger. They're calling you niggers. Right. And you're fighting for the white man. Right. And it started to really dawn on them that what they're speaking is true. Go ahead, continue reading.
Con. Most were bitterly disappointed to discover that very little had changed at home.
So these soldiers came back home from World War II to find out, from Vietnam to find out, from World War I, from Iraq, from Afghanistan, that when they came home, things have not changed. You're still hated. You still a wetback and a spick and a nigger. Continue reading.
Segregation was still the law of the land, and racism was alive and well.
Racism is alive and well in America. Let me tell you something. People see these things here. Read this one, and the top is a little hard to read, but see if you can get through it. But this is the way America is against us. This is what's happening to us. You know, this is prevalent in all history. You know, during World War II, a lot of Hispanics went out to fight the war, right? But a lot of Hispanics they bring from Mexico. They were doing the Obrero program. During the Obrero program, America was like, oh no, we want to help Mexico. You know, bring your people over here, and you know, we're gonna give you jobs in the field. The reason they opened up jobs in the field is because they didn't have no people to work these fields, because white people will not work the field. And Mexicans were being shipped out to the war. So who did that leave for them to work the fields and feed America? They bring people from Mexico to work in America, as in the Obrero program. And you know what they did after that? They deported all these people. Whether you were Chicano or Mexicano, you were being deported after you served them. You know, in Mexico we have a word. I'm pretty sure a lot of Ishikarites understand this word if you're watching. And it's called la mano de obra. The mano de obra means the working hands. We're the mano de obra. We're that extra hand for these people. That's what we are. That's what they call us, la mano de obra. Why? Because that's all we are to them. We're just a helping hand. The Native American Indian was the first helping hand till he turned against the white man. The black man was the second helping hand till he turned against the white man. And now the Mexican is the working hand. And soon we'll turn against these people for what they're doing to us. But by then they won't give a damn, because by then they already have all their robotics and all this nonsense, and they won't give a damn about black Hispanics or Native American Indians. You got that? Read it.
At the end of World War I, black soldiers returned home to find that the country they served still saw them as second-class citizens.
As what?
Second-class citizens.
So you're coming back from killing, you're coming back from fighting a war that you were drafted into, and you still come home to be seen as a second-class citizen. Continue reading.
In the South, Jim Crow, separate but equal, laws regulated African Americans to black only drinking fountains.
Right, black only drinking fountain. The laws that they passed were still alive and well. These laws come from how far back is that law? What'd you say that was? Jim Crow laws, way back from the times of slavery. And yet you're talking about the 1950s and 1960s, and you know what? Jim Crow is still alive and well in America. America is based on Jim Crow laws against black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We still live in the trajectory of what they built back then. We still live under the foot of Jim Crow. We still here to this day. That's why sometimes when you see on your media, you see your Facebook and them, you see women not getting served because they're black. Recently, right? We seen that woman at that park that pulled out the gun against that black woman. Did you see that? Anybody see that? This white woman's at a park. This black family goes to the park, right? And they're at the park, and this woman says, "You guys don't have a reservation to be here today." Right. But she's holding a gun in her hand and telling these people to leave the park. Right. The reason she did that is because they were black. That's why she did that. And that's Jim Crow alive and well. White people hate black people. That's the way it is. Go ahead.
Like the precept, sir?
Go ahead.
Ezekiel 35:5. So like we'll start verse 2. See what you're talking about.
Go ahead.
Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. Verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
And we are Israel, black Hispanics and Native American Indians. And you know what? They on purposely send us out to shed our blood. Walking Point was bloodshed for blacks and Hispanics during the Vietnam War. Walking the minefields in Korea and World War II, that was the point for black Hispanics and Native American Indians. Continue reading that if you got it.
Okay. Bus seats in schools. Jobs were harder to find for African Americans than for whites, and paid less. Discrimination was a daily part of American life. For black Americans, so too was the threat of violence, operating largely in shadows. The Ku Klux Klan was at the height of its power during the 1920s.
So, you know, the Ku Klux Klan, even today, man, they're still out there. They're just the police force today. But they still out there discriminating against black Hispanics and Native American Indians. We came back to America to be discriminated after we're serving with blood.
Right.
We're out there killing. We're out there killing for the freedom of America. But not your America, black man. Not your America, Mexican. Not your American, Native American Indian. You're fighting for the America of the white man.
Right.
That's whose America you're fighting for. You're
Right.
fighting for the freedom of the people that hate you. You're fighting for they can live with their white picket fence and their nice houses, their nice cars, and their jobs where they got paid more than you got paid. And let me tell you what they gave you in return. Let me see. Read this right here. And I'm going to show you what they didn't tell you, what they don't tell you about your service. Because let me tell you something, there's stories of the valor of black men who went up against Germans single-handedly and took out regiments of Germans by themselves. Stories of Mexicans who went out and died in the fields of Vietnam and World War II and World War I, Korean War, and they came back heroes. Man, people who should have been honored for the valor that they have. Hey, Tola, a man of valor, our ancestor, Ishikarite, right? We're men of valor. We're men who go out there and we really go out there and fight. We're not cowards. You know what I'm saying? Hispanics, Mexicanos, you know, La Raza, you know, we ain't cowards. La gente de Centroamérica, we ain't cowards. Our black brothers, we ain't cowards. Why do you think we're in the boxing ring and we go all out? You know what I'm saying? Because we is not cowards. And let me tell you something. Even though we went out and fought in the fields of Vietnam, even though we went out and fought in Korea and World War II and World War I, even though we were willing to give up our lives, America never recognized what you did for them. Read that.
Come on. Several of these servicemen were recommended for the Medal of Honor during the war.
A lot of servicemen that went out and fought in all these wars that were black and Hispanics, man, they fought with valor, without fear, and risked their lives, lost body parts out there. And this is what they got back. Read.
But the recommendations were lost or rejected.
So when they recommended a Medal of Honor to these people, all of a sudden they got lost or they just weren't recommended to them. You know what I'm saying? Like you went out there and gave your life and they took it for granted. Read.
Come on. Due to an unwritten practice of denying the nation's highest military medal to African Americans.
Read that again.
Due to an unwritten practice of denying the nation's highest military medal to African Americans.
So the highest ranking medal that you can earn in Vietnam, in the Korean War, in World War II, was denied to blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. They denied you the honor of saying you fought valiantly. You fought in this war like no man has fought. What they did, what America did, is didn't even recognize your valor, black man. America didn't even recognize your strength, Mexicano. America didn't recognize your intelligence, Native American Indian.
Right.
To them, you went out there and you fought in vain. You went out and killed their enemies in vain, because they never recognized anything that you've ever done for America. No matter what war you fought in, to them, you wasted your time.
It's like,
Go
it's
ahead.
not good too. The only way they can win those wars is with black and Hispanic people fighting in those wars.
Con.
Understand? Without black and Hispanic people inside those armies, they would not be able to win.
Right.
Understand? Like any black and Hispanic man, anything we touch, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We're good at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We achieve it. You know what I mean? We get to the top on anything that we do. Boxing,
Right.
baseball, football, even in the army. Some of the highest ranking are black and Hispanic people. You
Right.
understand? But one thing we gotta understand is that we gotta stop fighting in the white man's military because we never get acknowledged for the things that we do.
Right.
You know what I mean? We gotta, and what the brother was saying too, like he's showing you history of like World War II, World War I, Vietnam, all the wars. You know, we come back and they never acknowledge anything that we ever did in that war. We come back to racism.
Right.
We come back to our people getting deported.
Right.
And we come back to our people getting shot in the street by cops, our people getting thrown into prisons, and even some of the brothers that are sergeants, you know, high ranking in that army, even those brothers are getting beat up by cops and getting shot by cops.
Right.
You understand? So you should learn from history and be like, you know what, let's not fight in America's military no more. Because they never treated us right. They never gave us freedom. You understand? We fought for freedom for them, but when we come back to America, there's no freedom for us.
Con.
You understand? Like they never give us equal rights. You know what I mean? For black and
Right.
Hispanic people, there's no such thing as equal rights for us.
Right.
You understand? And they prove it every single day. You know, when they throw us in prison, you understand? When they deport our kids and our children, you understand? They don't give us equal rights. So if you're black and Hispanic, Native American Indian, you should never fight in the white man's military. You should never fight for America. You understand? Because America doesn't give a damn about us. Memorial Day, you understand, they acknowledge white people. They
Right.
acknowledge those white Americans that fought for their freedom, but they won't acknowledge black and Hispanic people who fought for the freedom of white America.
Damn
You
right.
understand? But go ahead and get that scripture real quick.
Come.
We're going to read a scripture in the Bible that shows that we should acknowledge black and Hispanic people. We should acknowledge other blacks and Hispanics who died for us. You understand? Go ahead and read that.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3, of the dead Israelites.
Hear what?
Hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites.
Hear the prayers of the dead Israelites. You understand? We should always remember them brothers that sacrificed their lives for us. Main person, Jesus Christ. Yahushua. He's the brother that died for us. You understand? All them brothers, man, like them brothers you was talking about that fought in the military.
Right.
You understand? Them brothers went and fought for what? They thought they were going to come back and get equal rights. Isn't that what you said?
Con. They thought they were going to come back and be treated equally.
Con, right. And then the Hispanics went in the military and fought for their families. Right? We should remember them.
Right.
We'll remember those black and Hispanic people, and we'll forget about them other devils that went and fought. You
Right.
understand? We'll never remember who George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. You understand? All them devils. We'll forget about them, but we'll remember our own people.
Right.
That's what we'll do. We'll remember all them hardcore warriors, black and Hispanic people that fought for that fought for us. You understand? We'll remember black and Hispanic warriors, but we'll forget about them white devils. You understand? We won't acknowledge them. There is no Memorial Day for them. We'll just forget about them. You understand? Go ahead, CHAAZAQ.
And let me tell you something. What you don't understand is that even during World War II and World War I, blacks and Hispanics were not housed with white people.
Right.
They were segregated. Even in war, they were segregated. They were separated. Our people went out there and fought because America decided, oh, you know what? This is a freedom of the world. You know what? If it was freedom, you know, you're talking about a country who, from the wars, there is no humane thing that America is doing. for blacks and Hispanics. They're still keeping you as if you're a second-class citizen. These brothers went out and fought in this war, and let me tell you, we haven't got into everything. You haven't heard everything right now. We're only touching on the fight that we've been doing. By joining this nation that hates us, save us according to the Bible. We have served a nation that could not save us, that has never had an interest in saving blacks or Hispanics. You know why? Because you came back to discrimination. What country would do that to people? What country would send you to fight and then bring you back to piss in your own pot and not be able to, you know what, man? You went and fought for the, and today you find yourself being discriminated on. Black brothers and sisters being shot on the street by police officers. You know what I'm saying? Our Mexican people being held in detention centers. If this was a nation of good people, they would consider everything that has been done for them. And let me tell you something, this is nothing new. During the Civil War, blacks were told, you know what, come and fight and we'll give you your freedom. Right. You can earn your freedom in the Civil War. But let me tell you something, even though they fought in the Civil War, they found themselves having a hard time being able to find freedom in America. The black man, the hate that they have against them. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you, Mexican people are you know, we're not too far from them, because America today, you know, today being Memorial Day, right? They're out there talking about all the great things of Memorial Day and of America's free because the soldiers went and fought. But when do they go have the Aztec Eagles, which was a group of Squadron 401, right? And this squadron went out and fought for the freedom, supposedly, of the world, but yet they never gained recognition. The 201st Airborne soldiers, fighting soldiers of the Aztec Eagles, El Escuadrón Azteca, 2001. You know what, Hispanics? Right. They don't want to say Hispanics fought a great fight, or blacks fought a great fight. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to say that. They want to make sure that you don't understand the potential that Mexico had when they went out and fought in the Squadron 201. You know what I'm saying? And they went out and fought in the war of World War II and won, you know, that battle, because they will not bring that out. They will not show that. They won't show you how black and Hispanic women went out and fought. You know what I mean? They fought. You know why they fought? They didn't fight for themselves. They fought because they believed that if they went out and fought as a black woman, black people in America would get recognition, recognized as regular people, and we'll be able to gain, you know, some kind of honor in America. But you know what? The truth is that never happened. If you know the story of what happened to black people, you'll understand that, you know what, they fought a war that was not their war. Man, you know, the Vietnamese never called black people niggers. Americans called black people niggers. You know what I mean? Vietnamese never called Hispanic people wetback. Problem with us today that we don't understand, you know, what's going on. Our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters, they also went out there and they gave their life for a country and set, you know, some kind of foot to help them out.
It's like, good too. But Donald Trump did go over there and throw bags at everybody. Oh, remember that? He was throwing food,
toilet paper.
He was throwing toilet paper at everybody.
Right.
And the city that he went to go visit was like a rich tourist city. You know what I mean? Right, and he was over there throwing toilet paper at the people. And if it was a good deed, you know, real proud, like you know what I mean? Like if it was something good that he was doing.
What he was doing, exactly. Let me tell you something. Puerto Ricans died in World War I. Puerto Ricans died in World War II and in Vietnam. They should be honored for the service they did for this country.
Right.
But instead they see them as spics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't see them as what they should be. But we forget this. And we choose to celebrate these holidays that these wicked people have. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason that we're in the situation that we're in. We're out there fighting for a democracy that's not for black Hispanics or Native American Indians. You know what I'm saying? We're out there fighting this so-called democracy that destroyed Latin America.
Right.
The same democracy that you were fighting for in Vietnam is the same democracy that went into El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Dominican Republic. Man, I can name all the countries in Latin America that they went and fought for democracy for. Today, they're trying to fight for democracy for Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to say that Venezuela needs democracy. But what kind of democracy are they fighting for? Because they ain't fighting for blacks and Hispanics. They're not fighting for us. You know what I'm saying? They're fighting for their freedom, for their way of life. But not for your way of life, black man. Not for your way of life. You live in the ghetto. You still underpaid. You still getting pulled over and beaten and thrown in jail. The system of America, the jail system in America is still 80% black and Hispanic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're still living in this hellhole. Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians, and Puerto Ricans. We're still living in this.
It's like, if I could too.
Go ahead.
If you could put it back on the Puerto Rican thing, the Puerto Rican picture. You know, like America mistreats Mexicans. Mexicans don't like Mexicans, and Mexicans don't like Puerto Ricans. But yet, we both been mistreated by America.
Right.
America has oppressed both Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. We gotta understand, we both got a common enemy. You understand? We gotta understand that we both the same people. You understand? You just live on a different island. We live in Mexico. We both the same people. We're both in poverty, and America is throwing our people in prisons. America is making our country poor.
Right.
You understand? America is both, mistreating our women, our men, and our children. You understand? We the same people. We gotta do what the scripture says. You got it, right? Go ahead.
Coming down.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea.
Say it louder. Speak louder, right?
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Gather yourselves together. Yea. Gather together, O nation not desired.
The scripture says to gather together, O nation not desired. You understand? Puerto Ricans, they're not desired in America. The brother was bringing out the history of what America did to the Puerto Ricans, to what they did to the Mexicans, what they did to black people, what they did to Native American Indians, Argentinians, Brazilians. You understand? America has mistreated black and Hispanic people. You understand? We need to come together because that's what God wants. God wants our people to come together because we're a people what? Not desired.
Not desired.
We're not desired in America. America hates black people. That's clear to understand. America hates Mexicans. Donald Trump hates Mexicans.
Right.
Donald Trump hates Puerto Ricans. You understand? That's clear as day. If you don't see that, it's just because you asleep. Not desired in America and the people that are hated. You understand? Black people get shot on the street every single day. I don't remember, but I remember he said something about the Puerto Ricans. He said they were just like Mexicans.
They were just like
That's
Mexicans,
what he said.
just with an accent.
He said they were just like Mexicans. That's what he
Right.
said. He said Puerto Ricans were just like Mexicans. You understand? We the same people. We all have a common enemy. We need to come together as one people. You understand?
God.
And see that we the same people, man. Same problems, same atrocities. We live in the ghetto together.
Mexicans housed with Mexicans.
Right.
Puerto Ricans housed with the Mexicans too.
Damn.
Because we understood our language.
Right.
That's one thing that we connect with is that we have the same language. We understand each other. And at the point where it's heavy, we may have some beef out on the street, but let me tell you something. When you get in the pen or when you get in the situation like the war, you're speaking Spanish, you my brother.
Right.
We together. When we see things in that sense, we're like, you know what? We're Latinos, if that's what you want to call us. But we won people. And you know what? What they did to the blacks, what they did to the Hispanic and the Puerto Ricans, they did to the Native American Indian.
Right.
So that means we all brothers. Because we all going through the same problems. Go ahead.
I got a precept I don't want if I could.
Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation
You gonna go start from crafty counsel.
Kind of a con. Psalm chapter 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
And let me tell you something with that. They have taken crafty counsel against our people. In the Vietnam era, the Pentagon targeted Chicanos, Puerto Ricans, and blacks and Native American Indians and other minorities and poor youth, all of us in the ghettos, with a discriminatory draft. The draft was based on getting blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians into the war first. Before they started bringing in white people, the first people that were out in the field were black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. And that came from, I read that from a PBS broadcast that they did, that they're the ones who bring out how America was drafting minorities first to go out and fight these wars. Continue reading.
For and consulted against thy hidden ones. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
And today, you know what? We're those people that are lost. You know how you know we're lost? Because we're going out and fighting these wars, and then we're coming back to fight another war in America. You know, the black man was fighting against discrimination, and I hear a lot of brothers talking about, well, you know what? We had to fight against discrimination. We had to fight against this. Well, let me tell you something. It's no different than what Hispanics had to do when they were fighting against discrimination in East LA, in California, and across the nation. We also had to come and fight against this discrimination. Our people also had to raise a voice against what was happening to us after we had come back from this war in America. You know what I'm saying? Our people were fighting against the white man who was going into our neighborhoods and killing us, because that's what it was. What you see today happening to black people is the same thing that happened to Mexicans in the 1960s. They were going into our neighborhoods in East LA, and they were bringing a war against us. The police department decided that, you know what, we're nobodies. We're less than anything else. And we were going through the same discrimination as our black brothers and sisters were. So you have to understand that, you know what, we brothers because we have the same common enemy, and that is the white man. And let me tell you something. What happened to the black man happened to the Mexican. You know what I'm saying? We've seen black brothers being, killed on the streets, shot in the street by police officers, being discriminated on. But you know what? Our Mexican brothers and sisters went through the same goddamn thing. You know what we were calling it on the streets in LA? In the streets in East LA, they were calling it a genocide. A genocide against Chicanos. A genocide against Hispanics. That's the same genocide that we see today, because that's happening to our black brothers in the streets of America today is a genocide. When you see brothers getting shot on the street, getting killed on the streets of America, that's exactly what that is. They're trying to eliminate a certain culture of people, and that's nothing new. This has been going on for a long time. That we're seeing in America today, that you're seeing happening in America today, happened to us a long time ago. We came back from World War II. The Hispanics came back from World War II to be discriminated on, beaten, and shot in the streets of America. This picture you're seeing here is during the Zoot Suit riots. That Zoot Suit riot happened right during World War II. Not only were they doing it to our Hispanic brothers, but they were also doing it to our sisters. Our sisters were being arrested. Our sisters were being taken in. Our sisters were being beaten. Our sisters were being raped. You know what I mean? By police officers in LA and all across America, to tell you what it is. All across America, we were running into this. And you know why? Because America hated us. You know why? Because of how we look. Because of who we are. That's why they were doing that to us. Because we're Hispanic people, and our people who hate you. And Mexican women, same thing. The Mexican man, the same thing. They see us and they see us as a threat to them.
Right.
The way we are, the way we dress, the way we you know, the way we go about our daily lives. You know what I mean? The way we party, the way we drink, all those things to them is a threat. As you can see here, you see a Mexican and you see a black man here. You see that? And the thing is that we used to dress like this, and because of the way we used to dress, that was enough for white people to hate you. For the white man and woman to see you and say that you're a vagrant, that you were a gangbanger today. Today they see you as a gangbanger. A white man can wear a bald head and he's just bald. But if a Mexican wears a bald head, he's a gangbanger.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A white man can wear dickies and he's just a regular man wearing dickies. But if you do it, you're a threat. You become a threat to these people. Even though we served them in our armies, even though we served them in their armies, even though we died for these people, they still treated you like that. They still went into your neighborhoods full force.
Right.
Full force they went into the neighborhoods and caused riots. They caused riots in Compton. They caused riots in South Central. They caused riots in East LA. They went out there and they did that to all of us. After we served this nation. And we served this nation to the death. Because we have uncles, we have brothers. We got people who went out and fought for this country. We got people who went out and tried to do the right thing. And you know what? They still seen us as the same. And let me tell you something. Not only men, but our women had to go out there and speak up also. Our women were side by side with us. You know what I'm saying? To try to show the white man that, you know what, you can't treat us like this. We're serving in your armies. We're serving in your military. And we're coming back to find war on our streets. War in the streets of East LA. War in the streets of South Central. War in the streets of Compton. And you know whose that war is? That's the white man's police force coming up against you. That's who that is. Even though we served them, even though we went out and died for them, we still had to come home and face discrimination against our people. Now let me tell you something. Does that sound like something that we should be, proud of? Is that something we should be celebrating on Memorial Day? Does that sound like something that you should be like, oh, let me have a goddamn barbecue and celebrate Memorial Day because now we have freedom? Because that's what they tell you. Celebrate Memorial Day because, hey, you're lucky to be free in America. These people went to war and you deserve to show them a day of honoring them. Why the hell should a Mexican, a black, or a Native American Indian honor these people?
Right.
When they did nothing for us. They did nothing for our people. Our people still came home from these wars to be discriminated on. And that brings me to my next subject. And that is the testing of mass chemical warfare against blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians. And let me tell you something. This is something that's always, no one speaks about. Because it's something that America would rather forget. Just the way America wants to forget that they committed atrocities and genocide against the Native American Indian. Just the way America wants to forget the lynchings against black people in the South and the lynchings against Hispanics in California and the Southwest. Just the way they want to forget of all the atrocity that they've committed on black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. They also want to forget of the atrocities they committed on soldiers that served America during World War I, World War II, and Korea and Vietnam. But the Lord has something for these people, because let me tell you something. The Lord's not going to sit around and let this go unforgotten. And that's why us in the ISUPK, we're out here to bring this inconvenient truth. We're out to let you know that the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
And we got proof. We got proof that we're bringing out from his own history to bring forward and show our people how it is that we got to separate from a nation that has always hated us.
Right.
That has always brought nothing but destruction onto black Hispanics and Native American Indians. Go ahead, I'm going to give you this right here for you can read this. Okay, and Oscar War highlighted some of the... Yeah, go ahead, read that precept. Salakia, I get all into this. Go ahead.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
So they held us captive and they have refused to let us go. Here you go. Read this right here. And this is called, I'm going to let her read the title. This is what you need to know. This is what you need to know why you need to come into the truth. Why you need to stop playing your games about who's Canaan and Mexicans aren't Judah and oh, you don't know how to read your Bible. This is nonsense. You need to come into this truth and understand your history. Read that.
Come on.
What's the title?
Secret World War II chemical experiments tested troops by race.
So during World War II, and man, this is only World War II. We can go into the Tuskegee. We can go into different eras of time when black people became the guinea pigs. Hispanics became the guinea pigs to the U.S. Army, to America. Read that one more time.
Secret World War II chemical experiments tested troops by race.
So they tested on troops, not just anybody, but by race. And that race is the black and Hispanics. Continue reading.
Come on. As a young U.S. Army soldier during World War II, Rawlings Edwards knew better than to refuse an assignment.
So Rawlings Edwards was a black man. Today he's, I think, 90 years old or something like that. And Rawlings Edwards was a black man amongst a lot of black men.
Right.
But he survived. And he's still alive to tell this story. Continue reading.
When officers led him and a dozen others into a wooden gas chamber.
Into a what?
Wooden gas chamber.
Man, they were leading these people into gas chambers. Isn't that what Hitler did to the Jews?
Right.
Did he not lead Jews into gas chambers? And we're calling Hitler a monster for putting Jews into ovens and putting Jews into gas chambers. The difference was these Jews were not serving Hitler. These black and Hispanic men were serving America and dying for this country. And in return, this is what they got. Read.
And locked the door. He didn't complain. None of them did. Then a mixture of mustard gas.
They what?
None of them complained. None of them did. Then a mixture of mustard gas and a similar agent called lewisite was piped inside.
So what they did is they put these men, these black men and Hispanic men, into a chamber, into some type of a room. And what they did is they administered mustard gas into the room while they were in there. And it was a mixture of these gases just to see how blacks and Hispanics would react to gas that was being used against the enemies of America. Right. Read.
Quote, it felt like you were on fire.
It felt like what?
You were on fire.
Man, these people felt like, these black Hispanics felt like they were on fire. America's putting these soldiers into a room and filling them with mustard gas, seeing how they would react. God damn it, you invented this stuff. You should know it's poisonous and you should know the reaction. But yet, blacks and Hispanics became guinea pigs for these people. Read.
Recalls Edwards, now 93 years old, quote, guys started screaming and hollering and trying to break out. And then some of the guys fainted. And finally, they opened the door and let us out.
So they took black soldiers, Hispanic soldiers, Puerto Rican soldiers, Mexican soldiers, put them into a room, filled it with mustard gas, just to see how they would react. Let me tell you something. The U.S. used mustard gas on black, Puerto Rican, Latin American, and Native Indian troops. Why? Because it was chemical warfare, and they just wanted to see how people would react to this war, to these chemicals. Continue reading.
And the guys were just, they were in bad shape. Edwards was one of 6,000 enlisted men enrolled in a one secret government program, formerly declassified in 1993, to test mustard gas and other chemical agents on American troops.
So they say to test these agents on American troops, but they weren't testing on American troops. They're categorizing them as American troops, but they should be honest. You know what they were testing on? Black people,
Right.
Hispanic people, Puerto Rican people, Native American Indian people, because they were not testing them on white people. They were using us as guinea pigs to see if mustard gas would really work on somebody else. So before they went and dropped it on the Koreans or the Chinese or anybody, first they administered it on us. Continue reading.
But there was a specific reason he was chosen. Edwards is African American.
Edwards is what?
African
This
American.
man was African American. Read.
Quote, they said we were being tested to see what effect these gases would have on black skins.
So they're testing, in World War II, America is testing mustard gas and all kind of chemical weapons on black people, just to see what reaction blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians and Puerto Ricans would have when they got this stuff on them. Read.
An NPR investigation has found evidence that Edwards' experience was not unique. While the Pentagon admitted decades ago that it used American troops as test subjects in experiments with mustard gas until now.
So the Pentagon, the NPR is National Public Radio. That's a legit source. And they went and did this research and found out that America was doing this to black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Go ahead, continue reading.
Officials have never spoken about the tests that group subjects by race. For the first time, NPR tracked down some of the men used in the race-based experiments.
Race-based experiment. Let me tell you something. When the black men were walking point in Vietnam, that was a race-based experiment. When Hispanics were walking point in Vietnam, that was a race-based experiment. Why? Because they were using us as the guinea pigs. Just in case something happened, we would be the first ones out. Go ahead.
And it wasn't just African Americans. Japanese Americans were used as test subjects, serving as proxies for the enemy, so scientists could explore how mustard gas and other chemicals might affect Japanese troops.
So they use us, minorities, as their test subjects. The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
Why else would he do that? Go ahead.
Like if I could, I was gonna say that so even at that time they had some Japanese fighting for them
Gun.
against Japan,
Right.
and they were using the Japanese to see how does this work on your people, because
Exactly.
we're going up against them, so we need to see how it affects the Japanese.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they would grab the Japanese that were on our side, and they would put them in these chambers.
And let me tell you something. The Tuskegee experiment, and the syphilis experiment in Guatemala and El Salvador and Latin America, they used these same test subjects to see how it would affect on these people too.
Right.
So before they went out and spread the disease on our people, they would test it on our people just to make sure that it was going to be effective.
Right.
Let me test it on a Mexican to make sure that if I spread on the rest of the Mexicans, they're going to react the same. And let me tell you why. Because the white man understands that black Hispanics and Native American Indians, we are special people.
Right.
And that our bodies react different than their bodies do.
Right.
They see that our bodies can absorb the sun rays and be positive, while their bodies absorb sun rays and burn them and become cancerous.
Right.
Too.
Go ahead.
That's in the army though too, right?
That's in the army.
They're experimenting on black and Hispanic people that are in the army. Well, imagine in America when they put crack in our neighborhoods. That'd be considered an experiment too.
Right. Goddamn right.
Right. First they experimented with the brothers in Brazil. That's where they first tested crack. And then they brought it to Americas and gave it to black and Hispanic and Native American Indians.
Right.
You understand? And how do we react? Now everybody's completely destroyed.
Right.
Off of crack, off of the, what you call it, crystal meth. You understand? You got to think about how many people do you know that are completely destroyed off of crack,
Right.
off of crystal meth? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's countless. You know what I mean? Crack is from what? What year? Like the 80s,
The
right?
80s.
The 80s, right? All the way down to 2019. That crack and the crystal meth is still affecting black and Hispanic people to this day.
Absolutely.
You understand? You would think by, at least by maybe 2000 that would be gone.
Right.
The crack would be gone by 2000, but
Right.
damn, 2019, like for me, I'm a younger brother. I'm not as old as CHAAZAQ, but I know brothers around my age that are on crack,
Right.
that are on crystal meth. Brothers that I grew up with, elementary, junior high, and these brothers are completely destroyed off of the experiment of crack cocaine,
Right.
off of crystal meth. You understand? And that goes back to the Crafty Council.
Right.
You understand? The Crafty Council, what was that? Psalms 83? You don't gotta read it. Crafty Council. You understand? The white man has Crafty Council. And that Crafty Council are those experiments that they do on black and Hispanic people.
Damn right.
You understand?
Damn right.
So our name can what? So they can no longer remember Israel. We don't remember our identity no more. We don't know who we are no more. We don't give a damn about anything. Because we're so focused on that drug that they're giving us.
Right.
We give up our money, we lose our family, lose everything over a simple drug that the white man put in our neighborhoods. You understand?
Exactly.
And you understand? I know, sometimes we blame black and Hispanic people for being drug dealers. You understand? But there's not a bigger drug dealer than the so-called white man. Right. The white man is the biggest drug dealer on the face of the earth. He's the one that put drugs in our communities. You understand? So whenever, if you black and Hispanic, you ever see a brother that's on drugs and twacked out on crack and everything like that, and you see him completely destroyed, you gotta automatically say, that's the white man's fault right there.
Right.
The white man's the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand?
That's right.
He's the reason why that he's on crack.
Right.
You understand? All of that brother looked completely destroyed. He bummed out. You understand? And he acting the fool. You blame that on the so-called white man.
Right.
And so that's his fault. He's the one that brought those drugs, and he allowed it to come to our neighborhoods.
Right.
You understand? Not only did he put drugs in our communities, but he also put guns in our communities, and then put us in prison for doing drugs. You understand? You understand how hypocritical that is? How you gonna allow drugs to come into the communities, and then put us in prison for selling drugs and smoking drugs.
After they did that to
After they did that, you understand? That's going back to the Crafty Council.
Right.
That's what the white man did. That's it.
And let me tell you something. The reason why we speak up is because, we can't allow this to happen to our people no more. America has experimented in the armies, experimented in the hospitals, experimented on the streets against black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We are the guinea pigs for a country, and we have not realized it. Sometimes, we're so wrapped up in our daily lives and what's going on that we haven't realized how deep this really is. It's something that has passed by us without understanding what's going on. But some of our people who have been involved in this realize what it is. There's this gentleman named Juan Lopez Negron. Juan Lopez Negron was a Puerto Rican. This Puerto Rican, he was involved in an experiment during World War II. The experiment was called the San Jose Project. And what it was is they would send a whole troop of Puerto Rican soldiers out into the jungles of Panama. And what they did is they'd set off a siren. And this siren would let them know that they were about to drop mustard gas and other chemicals onto them to see how they would react. The idea was to destroy men, but not to destroy the forest or anything around it. And these men had to deal with that. They were out there, and Jose Negron today is Lopez is about 95 years old, and he was tested. And I'm going to read that one real quick. So let me go into this. This is NPR News that reported this. Jose Lopez Negron was a Puerto Rican. He was involved in the experiment during World War II as part of what was known as the San Jose Project, named after the island of the Gulf of Panama where they conducted the experiment. Lopez, now 95, remembered the test involved soldiers being sent out into the jungle, covered island, and sprayed with mustard gas in combat-like settings. That was meant to simulate the South Pacific. In other words, they're trying to stimulate what it's going to be like in the South Pacific, in the Japanese War, in the Vietnam War, and these wars. So they went ahead and just sprayed them with this stuff. We had uniforms on to protect ourselves, but the animals didn't, he recalled. They were rabbits, and they all died. Lopez told NPR News that he and other soldiers being tested got sick right away. He said, I spent 3 weeks in the hospital with bad fever, he said. Almost all of us got sick. The Pentagon admitted in 1991 that they tested mustard gas on American troops. Let me tell you something. It's not American troops. It was blacks, Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, and Native American Indians that were being tested. They call them American troops because they're saying Puerto Ricans are Americans because you fighting in this war, so you an American. But
Right.
if your Puerto Ricans were American, America would have took care of them during this hurricane.
Right.
America would have took care of them when they were going through that time in the 1950s and 60s in poverty-stricken of New York. They would have helped them in the time of the war when they were fighting for South Puerto Rico for the military to be taken out of there. But you know what? They didn't fight for them because sometimes they're Americans. When they're experimenting on them, they'll tell them, "Oh, you're American. You're fighting for the American dream, for American liberties, but you ain't free. This is not your liberty. This is the white man's liberty.
Right.
Your liberty is not included in this. Why? Because you still came back from World War I to be discriminated on. You still came back from the Vietnam War to be discriminated on. You still came back, Mexicano, from World War II to be taken out in the streets of LA on Broadway because of the Zoot Suit riots, because of the way you looked, and you were still being discriminated on. Because of the music you were listening to, because of your greasy hair, because of the way you dressed, because of the way you talked, you were still being discriminated on. I'll go on and read. The American troops and declassified some documents about the projects 2 years later, but racial aspects of the testing has been closely guarded secret. So listen to what NPR News is saying. It's saying that even though the Pentagon admitted in 1991 that they tested mustard gas on American troops and declassified some of the documents about the project 2 years later, but the racial aspect, the truth about who these people were, the racial aspect of the testing has been closely guarded secret. You know why? Because the Pentagon doesn't want to say that the 60,000 American soldiers involved in this testing were Puerto Ricanos, or were Mexicanos, or were Negros,
Right.
or were Native American Indians. Men were used as scientific control groups to determine what would be considered a normal response to the gas, and then compared them to minority troops. So what they did is they got a bunch of white soldiers and then just, kept them in a room, talked to them, and thought, okay, you guys are going through the same thing that the minority groups are going through. But it's a goddamn lie. The white people never were tested the way Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and blacks were tested. Let me tell you something. Republican Barbara Lee, a Democrat from California, a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, who sits on a House subcommittee for Veterans Affairs, told NPR, "I'm angry. I'm very sad. I guess I shouldn't be shocked when you look at the syphilis studies and all the other very terrible experiments that have taken place as it relates to African American, Hispanics, and people of color. But I guess I'm still shocked that here we go again." So let me tell you, even the people in power understand that. Who's being tested? Black and Hispanics and Native American Indians. Who's being destroyed in the fields? Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You know what? Let me tell you something. The reason we come out and speak like this is because if not for us, you will not know about this. If not for us, this history would be brushed under the table. This history would be put in a file that you would never hear about. But you know what? We care about our black brothers, our Hispanic brothers, and our Native American Indian brothers. Salakia. We care about our brothers. And that's why we have to come out here and speak about these atrocities that were committed against our people. And you know what? Even though you want to go and celebrate Memorial Day, once again, why should black, Hispanics, or Native American Indians celebrate Memorial Day? When we did not come back to freedom, we did not come back to equal rights, we did not come back to be treated like humans. We came back from these wars to be treated discriminately. We came back from these wars to be treated as second-class citizens.
Right.
We came back to be brainwashed into a country that tells you you're equal, but you're not equal. You're still getting shot. You're still being killed. You're still being beaten. And the prison system, the prison complex in America, is still 80% black and Hispanics.
Let me tell you this too, like real quick, to make a quick point, like who else is speaking about what's going on? You understand? Like the brother, we fought in the military, we come back and we're mistreated. We're getting thrown into prisons, police brutality, immigration detention centers. You understand? We're exposing what America has done to black and Hispanic people.
Right.
But what about Christians though? What do Christians speak about?
Right.
What about the Catholic Church? They're actually on the side of America.
Right.
That's right.
I guarantee you, your Christian pastor today is celebrating Memorial Day.
Damn right.
He's having a barbecue, cutting a salad, all of that. You understand? Your Catholic priests, Christian pastors, they support America, they love America, and you understand? They're on the side of America.
Damn right.
So they're on the side of America against black and Hispanic people. I'll give you Matthew 6:24 real quick. Let me get that real quick. You understand? Those pastors, they're not on the side of us. You understand? We as black and Hispanic people, we're going through poverty. We're getting destroyed. You understand? We go through racism, but the pastor never sides with us. You understand? They never give us the solution. You understand? They never give us the solution to our problems. Where's that solution at? Where's the solution to black and Hispanic problems? That's in the Bible. You understand? If you wanna stop being oppressed, you wanna stop going through oppression, you gotta go through the Bible and follow the Most High so we can get out of oppression. But how come the Christian pastor can never show it to you in the Bible? How come they can never show you the solution of getting out of oppression? The thing is that they don't believe in the Bible, they don't know the Bible.
Right.
You understand? What they do know is Christianity, and Christianity has nothing to do with the Bible.
Damn right.
Give me Matthew 6:24 real quick.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 24. No man can serve two masters.
Scripture says no man can serve two masters. Go ahead.
For either he will hate the one and love the other.
Either he gonna hate one or he gonna love the other. So meaning this, if you love the Most High, you're gonna hate America because America goes against everything the Most High is with. You
Right.
understand? The Most High is the Most High is against homosexuality. The Most High is against drugs. The Most High is against interracial marriage.
Right.
The Most High wants black and Hispanic people to love one another. But America is saying what? Be a homosexual, sell drugs, smoke weed. You understand? Interracial marriage, adultery. You understand? You have to serve one master. You understand? Go ahead. The Christian church is with America. You understand? They
Right.
love America and then they hate black and Hispanic people.
Right.
Here's the whole point. If you're black and Hispanic, you gotta leave the Christian church.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Right.
If you're a black and Hispanic, you gotta leave the Catholic Church. Because the Catholic Church and the Christian Church are against the Most High. They're against
Right.
God. You understand? And like I was bringing out before, what I'm telling the brothers is that the Christian Church and your Christian pastor is celebrating Memorial Day right now.
That's right.
You understand? We went into and we spoke about the atrocities that black and Hispanic people went through during the war,
Mhm.
and the Christian Church is celebrating Memorial Day.
Right.
Right.
Loving America, red, white, and blue. You understand? We should all come together. You understand? So what I'm saying is this: they're against black people.
Damn
The
right.
Christian church is not on the side of black and Hispanic people. So what we got to do is leave the Christian church, because the Christian church is the main reason why we're destroyed as a people.
Right.
Understand? We got to leave Christianity, leave Catholicism, leave religion, man. You understand? And coming to the UPK.
Right.
You understand? Coming to Israel School UPK, you're watching the Inconvenient Truth, and we're bringing out the truth. You understand?
Right.
The brother went into what? Operation what? Orange? Or what was it?
Oh, we're talking about the San Jose project was one of them,
Right.
which was the project against that where they sprayed Agent Orange
There you go.
or the mustard gas on Hispanics and blacks and
That's
Puerto
the whole
Ricans.
point. The
Right.
brother bringing out these operations that the America did against black and Hispanic people. You ain't gonna hear that in the Christian church.
Never.
Right.
When in the hell are you gonna hear about this history in the Christian church? You will never hear that. You understand? You're gonna hear that in the Israelite School UPK, and you're gonna find out what the white man did to black and Hispanic people.
John.
You're gonna find out about all those operations, all the ideas that the white man created to destroy black and Hispanic people. You understand? Right here, you're gonna hear the truth. You understand? You're gonna hear the truth of the Bible. You're gonna hear real truth about black and Hispanic people. You understand? How we fought in those wars. You understand? And that's the reason why America won. Because of us, because of black and Hispanic people. You understand?
Right.
Because we fought in those wars, America won. You understand? And you won't hear that nowhere else, man. Go ahead. 'Cause
And let me tell you, the reason why the Christian church and the Catholic church, they don't want to do that, they actually, they'll celebrate these days. They'll even push all their congregation to celebrate Memorial Day. But they'll never tell you of the atrocities committed on the black and Hispanic and Native American Indian.
Right.
Like Lahab said, the problem there is that they disregard the destruction that has been caused on our own people. And you know what? Us as Hispanics, if you say, man, I'm a Chicano, I love my people, I love Mexicanos, then you should understand that this that we're talking about should not be pushed under or let slide out or forgotten about.
Right.
Because you know what? This is something that happened to your people. And you know what? You're saying, well, that was in the past. Well, let me tell you something. It's history all over. Look at, during the Civil War, black people were promised equal rights if they joined the Civil War. They still fought for their freedoms. Then came World War I. And people were told, you know what, you fight in World War I. The black man, the Hispanic man went to war in World War I. And what all that happened is that they came back to the same problems. The same segregation, the same discrimination, the same problems that they left with. They came back to America to have to deal with all over again. Then you went to World War II, and in World War II, same thing happened. Same thing. The distrust of the black man was prevalent during World War II. They needed manpower, but they did not allow the black man to get any recognition while fighting in these wars. So we come, you want to be equal. You want to say, well, let me let it ride. Let me let it slide. Let me not be that person. We're all created equal. Obviously, you may think we're created equal, But there's a person in America, there's a culture that doesn't believe that you're created equal to them. There's certain people in America that think that the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian should not be allowed to have the same rights as they have. And you know what? You may have some people out there that maybe, well, I'm not like that. But you know what? When you begin to speak about this, the first thing they'll tell you is, why are you talking like that? You know what? White people mourn their 9/11. White people mourn their Memorial Day, the death of their soldiers. Then why the hell can't we mourn the death of our brothers and sisters?
Right.
And the atrocities that were committed on them. What, we don't have the right to speak out of what they did to our brothers and sisters? We're going to go on in history and just say, well, they don't matter. Put them aside. That was in the past. But yet they want to continue to celebrate Memorial Day and remember all the soldiers that fought in Vietnam, in World War I, World War II, the Korean War. But how about the soldiers that were used in experiments? How about the black soldier that was taken into those chambers and mustard gas was shot into them?
Right.
How about those soldiers in the Tuskegee experiment? How about those soldiers that were sent to Walk Point? They were all black and Hispanic soldiers. How about them? How about the Puerto Rican regiment that went out there and died for their country, so-called country? How about them? We can't remember them? No, but you got to remember them in Memorial Days for all of them. Then remember that America did that to them. If that's what you want to remember, then remember that those weren't the Chinese or the Japanese or the Vietnam or the Germans who did that to them. That was the American government. The Pentagon and all their, not no foreign country, not no enemy, but those that you were trying to serve, black man, those that you pledged an oath to go and give America freedom, that same freedom, when you went to that war, they did that to these people. They lab rats. Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians were lab rats for America.
Damn right.
And then you came back to America to be discriminated on. You came back to America to have to deal with the Zoot Suit riots. You came back to America to have to deal with deportation. You came back to America, black man, to have to deal with discrimination. Not being able to piss just anywhere. You had to piss in your own place. You couldn't ride the bus. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't go into certain shops. You couldn't go anywhere. That's what you came back to. You came back to all that. You returned home to find out that the war wasn't against the Vietnamese. The war wasn't against the Chinese. The war was against the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians.
Like, if I could too,
Go
like,
ahead.
you know, rather than us going and fighting the American military, like, we're using all of our strength, you know what I mean, all of our wisdom to fight in the white man's military. What if we can use that strength and that wisdom to fight for our own people?
Right.
Understand? And build our own communities.
God.
All that talent that black and Hispanic people have coming from the ghetto, you know what I'm saying? What if you can throw it back into the ghetto?
Right.
You know, you understand? Separate from the white man, the Arabs, the East Indians, separate from these other nations, and we start building together. You understand? All that wisdom, all the rich athletes, you know, throw that money to us.
Right.
You understand? You politicians, throw that money back to black and Hispanic people, and let's build our own nation, our own kingdom. You understand? And there's a reason, and there's a way you can do it. You did the UPK. You send all that money, all them ties, all your wisdom, your understanding, your strength. You come in here, and we start building our own nation, our own kingdom. You understand? Black and Hispanic, Native American Indians. We'll rule as one people and separate from everybody else, and you'll see our people rise. You understand? You know what I mean?
Right.
You understand? You're gonna see a nation of black and Hispanic people rise up, man.
God.
You understand?
And enemies distinguished medals like that. You know what I'm saying? And yet they went out there and gave their life. Country that's not your country. And we're well established with homes. We got cars, but you know what? The reason why a lot of people aren't they graduating right now? Goddamn. There was some that had if not for these people, your son died at the daughter would not be graduating. your son wouldn't that you have today. Because before you, I do understand the atrocities that I'm no longer gonna have that. I'm gonna go, and because of those people, Hispanic man, Native American, Indian man, who is
Their military and the reason why we you know.
20. He had put forth his hands against such. The words of his mouth were drawn swords.
Military, because he puts his hand accepted because we think that we have some kind of love or something. You know what I'm saying? But instead of giving us some kind of
except for what's happening to the brothers today in Iraq, and they were promised because they went back on their word here in borders.
Wear the military uniform and rock the USA flag. Or after you go fight them, and like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You understand? Like,
Right.
You understand? Like, we're like back, and you threw me back in Mexico. You understand?
Real nothing but country freely. You know, when all managing, we see you that were right. You know, we people shouldn't be surprised throughout all of history to say that there is any an atrocities of Vietnam. I can go back to this at all.
right.
Go ahead.
So like I said, how you saying that you know they'll call it a before
To send it back to Europe and to show their prayer in the media.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing we gotta understand is that, you know, Hispanics today, man, and I know firsthand, you know, Hispanics celebrate the 4th of July. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's a 4th American flag. You know what I'm saying? They're ready. You know, once again, with all that, why are we celebrating these holidays, American Indians? These are not our holidays for us.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Our this is it right here. I'm gonna show you. It was called the Boriquen in the U.S. Army, right? But where is the help that they needed when they found themselves in trouble? Where is America for them when they needed this help? You know what I'm saying? But once again, like I said, what happens is that to celebrate these days, but never consider the atrocities that have been committed, realize that these holidays are not for us. These holidays are not meant to be celebrated. What they're doing there is they're trying to manipulate Hispanics and Native American Indians. Remember, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You done?
These people doing this to our people.
Next American holiday is 4th of July. Where was black people during that time?
Right.
Where was Hispanic people when the white man won his independence?
Right.
Right? Didn't they just lose their land?
Con.
So the meaning this 4th of July has nothing to do with black and Hispanic people.
Right.
The white man won his freedom. Then black people still picking cotton. You understand? We were going through hell while the white man was, you damn near a traitor if you having a barbecue on 4th of July.
Damn right.
You understand? You having a barbecue, you black and Hispanic, shaming your black and Hispanic people when you have that barbecue. You understand? Because you're siding with the white man. You should understand that as black and Hispanics. Go ahead, Art.
And let me tell you something. It's sad to see because a lot of people they want to put aside the atrocities that were committed to them and still hope for recognition. And a perfect example is the the code talkers. The code talkers, and give the code talkers a little enjoy. The best he could do was War II was because the code talkers were able to create a code that was unbreakable. By these America, the only thing they could do, this president, was make fun of these Native American Indians. For them, they chose to. So when you think that they oppressed, when we are demoralized, when we are seen as less, and we will always be like that. No matter how hard we try this, we will always be the same. You know what I'm saying? We have to bring what it is for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. Right. The Lord said, you know what? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna write down why you're gonna face these problems that are gonna come at you. And history is the problem, and the Bible is where it wrote it down. Give me that precept.
Habakkuk
2 and 12.
Come on.
Go ahead.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
The Lord says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. Let me tell you, America is built on the blood, sweat, and work of the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. The Lord says, woe to them. Why does he say woe? Because woe means total destruction. America is going to get ready for total destruction. Continue reading.
And establisheth a city by iniquity.
And established a city by iniquity. Let me tell you something. California, Arizona, New York, Miami, all these cities have been established through iniquity. What iniquity it is? What is it? I'll tell you what it is. It's the genocide of black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Go ahead and read. And it's the genocide that has been brought on black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, man. That's what it really is. We've been destroyed to a point where it's ridiculous. If you look at the history of the Chicano history, it's ridiculous what happened to us.
Right.
If you look at what happened to the Mexican, Aztec, Native American Indian, it's ridiculous what happened to these people. The bringing over of the slaves, of the black slave, naked, side by side on the transatlantic slave trade. The man, come on. What do you need to see that these people have done this to our people? What does it take for you to wake up to the reality that no talking racially, or that we'll bring out the atrocities that America has committed on black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians? That's how easy it is to show you how it is that we've been affected by a nation of people that have hated us. It doesn't take no more than their own history to show what they've done to us. And you may call it what you may call me whatever you want to call me. You may say I'm wasting my time, or that, what I'm speaking is hate, but the reality is that no one has more hate than America does for black,
Right.
Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
Right.
No one has more hate than that. Still to this day, black people are fighting. What is that, social media? You see it every day. Black man gets pulled over. What did I do? What did I do? He's getting beat to the ground.
Right.
He's getting shot. Mexican people are like, man, all we want is, to come to America and get a green card and work. And yet you're being put in cages. Okay, arrest me. But why do you have to separate me from my family?
Right.
Why do you have to separate my kids? Why do you have to rape my kids? Why do you have to throw my families and separate them like you've done the black and the Native American Indian? What is it? What is the cause that I've done for you to do that to my people? Why is the prison system filled with black and Hispanics? How come we're the ones that are being mistreated? Why are we the ones that are being taken in this manner? With all other Armenians coming here illegally, Chinese are coming here illegally. You know what I'm saying? Europe. It's common sense. You have to understand, I'm not talking no lies. I'm talking a simple common sense. The question is, why is it us that's going through that? Why haven't you heard of an African being shot by the police officer? Why haven't you heard of an Armenian being shot and killed by police officers? Why are they numbers? Why are they outnumbering everybody? Therefore, they're not from this country. But why is it the news always has to have black and Hispanics? Why were our communities invaded by the drug epidemic? How come other communities weren't? You know why? Because until you start to realize that what's happening here is that our people are being targeted. We're the target for America. We're the ones that are being destroyed. We're the ones that are being hated. We're the ones that are in jeopardy today. And what's the solution? Right here, the ISUPK. The solution is brotherhood. That solution is come together with those that are being oppressed by the same people. The solution is separate. How do you separate? You know what? Stop celebrating their holidays.
Right.
Stop going to their churches. Stop dealing with these people. Keep your communities within yourself. And learn to treat your brothers and sisters, the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. Learn to treat them correctly. Because you know what? They're not treating you correctly. So what's the best thing we can do? Is learn to uplift ourselves. Uplift our brothers and sisters. Come into the UPK. and start learning the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. That you know what? You might be able to teach your brother to wake up to this truth. Because that's what we're doing here. Our job today is to wake up our brothers and sisters.
Right.
We're waking up the dead. You know why the dead? Because our brothers and sisters are dead. They're the ones that are on crack. They're the ones that are shooting each other on the streets, in the barrios, in the gangs. Our brothers and sisters are the ones that are being, separated from their families. Our brothers and sisters are the ones that are having problems finding jobs. Our brothers and sisters are the ones that are being taken for granted. Our job is to wake each other up. We wake people up for they can come into this truth. And you know what the ultimate thing is? To be saved. And how are you going to be saved? By you no longer doing drugs. By you no longer, you know what? We're stopping the separation of families. We're stopping women from putting our brothers and sisters, or women or sisters putting our brothers putting our brothers on welfare. You know what I'm saying? Oh man.
It died or went out.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we're fighting for. That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for let me get your cord. The red one. We're fighting for our brothers and sisters to come back and revive and come back into this truth. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal here. It's 9:51. We're almost over. I went out just in time. Yeah.
It's out. It's out.
Yeah, it's out. So that's our goal here, to revive our brothers and sisters, to bring them back from hell, because that's what this is. This is hell. You know what I'm saying?
You good right here though.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. So this is what we're coming back from. We're coming back from a hell. We're coming back. We're bringing our brothers and sisters back from a destruction. That's what we're bringing our brothers and sisters back from. Go ahead,
No, and the brother's saying it's so heavy too, because in this hell, you can get heaven.
God.
You understand? That heaven is right here in the UPK.
That's right.
You understand? In the UPK, we don't go through the same problems and same atrocities that everybody else goes through.
Right.
And here, we don't get locked up.
Right.
We don't get thrown in jail for 25 to life. You understand? We don't get shot on the street by cops. You understand? We don't have drug addictions in the UPK. That doesn't happen here. Our kids don't get molested.
Come.
You understand? Our money doesn't get robbed.
Right.
Our women don't get raped, and there is nobody, like no pastor having sex with our women. That doesn't happen here. You understand? Right. We're separated from everybody else. And you can have heaven in America if you're in the UPK. Right. And you don't have to go through hell.
Right.
You understand? You can have peace. You can have brotherhood. You understand? You can have brothers that are loyal to you, that'll take care of you. You understand? And here you'll find brothers that actually care for you.
Right.
You understand? You'll find a mother, you'll find a father, you have brothers and you have sisters that actually care for you. You'll have a family in the UPK. That's something that nobody has in the world.
Right.
You understand? Your cousins and your brothers in the world don't really care about you.
Right.
They're the ones that backstab you. They're the ones that make your life miserable. Your own family. You understand? You come to the UPK and you'll have an actual family.
Absolutely.
You understand? You'll have brothers that actually care for you in the UPK. You should come on in. You understand? You should come to UPK. Go ahead, Doc.
No, Slug, after you're done.
No, go ahead, Doc.
What I was gonna say is that this brother's, man, what I'm saying is so super heavy, because I remember General Hyman saying this, that every brother in the UPK has never been told to stay away from their family.
Right.
You know, every brother in the UPK has never been told to stay away from their family or to not say what's up to their family. But yet, every brother in the UPK has experienced their family not saying or acting a certain way because they didn't celebrate Christmas no more.
Right.
Or because they didn't celebrate holidays no more, so-called holidays.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So every brother in the UPK has experienced their family pushing them away or seeing them as not as a family because the brother or sister decided to not celebrate holidays no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you have never seen a brother in the truth stop talking to their family because anything. You know what I'm saying? For any reason, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't get told to not speak to our family no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We get told to, you know, we family anyways. You know, be a brother to them, be a sister to them.
Right.
But yet every brother that has a family, you know what I'm saying, in the world, they stop talking to him because he don't want to celebrate Christmas no more. Because
Right.
he don't want to celebrate New Year's no more. So they stop talking to him and they push him aside. When a brother in the truth will never do that.
Right, I got you. And I know what you're saying. You're saying this, that when you leave the world, people start hating you.
Right.
Like when you're not in the world no more, your own family is gonna be the one to come against you.
Right.
You understand? You decide to stop. You decide to stop smoking weed.
Right.
You decide to stop selling crack, stop gang banging, stop
God.
selling Christmas and Halloween and Thanksgiving, and your family's like, oh, whoa, what's going
Right.
on? You know,
Right.
what are you doing? You know, come smoke this
Uh-huh.
weed.
Right.
Come celebrate Thanksgiving. Come celebrate Halloween. Come celebrate Christmas. And you're like, I ain't doing that because I serve the Most High. And
Right.
now they hate you.
Right.
Now they don't want to deal with you no more because you decided to serve God. And on the other hand, you're looking at them like, man, come up on in here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right here, I'm going to show you real love, man.
Right.
Get off that weed, get off that crack. You're going to show them how evil Christmas and Thanksgiving is. You
Right.
understand? And they'll hate you for it.
Come.
That shows that they ain't really family.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're family in the flesh.
Right.
But in the spirit, you got brothers in the UPK that will really die for you. You understand? They'll really take
Yeah,
care of you. You understand?
Right.
You give them a phone call, you're gonna have a brother that's gonna give you counsel.
Right.
Brothers that you never knew. You know what I
Right.
mean? That you just met, and the brother will pick up your phone call and be like, "What's going on?" You know what I mean? How much money you need? You need a place to stay?
Right.
Point being this: the UPK really gives a damn about Black and Hispanic people. You
God.
understand? Right here, we really take care of our brothers, man. And you will not get this love in the Christian church.
Right.
Once again, you cannot receive this love anywhere else but in the UPK. You won't get it in the Christian church, the Muslim mosque, Catholic church, any fake Israelite group. You will not receive that love. You
That's
understand?
right.
And here, we'll give you that real love, and we'll even correct you whenever you're doing wrong.
Right.
That's real love right there.
Oh,
You understand? Go ahead,
Uh-huh.
CHAAZAQ.
And let me tell you, absolutely, you know, that's the problem with our people today is that we choose to serve our enemy. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in. As long as we continue to serve these people, we will find ourselves in this position all the time. Here comes a new war, right? Here comes a new war. Here comes the war in Venezuela. Here comes the war in Mexico. Here comes the war in the Middle East. And our people are going to be the first ones to line up to go serve these people again. You know, and that's, you know what's most important is that we need to come out here and show what they did to our people in the past, that we understand that our children cannot participate in these wars no more.
Right.
That our people cannot be part of this ongoing discriminatory process that our people have been fighting against throughout all the wars. That's why it's important that we wake up and that we realize that when they do that, send your kid to war, Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians take no part in that. Go ahead.
It's like what I was gonna say, and I know that it will never happen. Is that what if, or what would happen if the Christian and Catholic Church started speaking up on this? People would stop going to church.
God.
People would stop going and believing in their pastor.
God.
You know what I'm saying? And that the reason why is I got a scripture for it. If I could go ahead, Oscar, pull it.
Khan. Isaiah chapter 30 verse 9. That this is a rebellious people.
Because we're rebellious people.
God.
We like to rebel. We don't like to, you know what I'm saying? We don't like to hear what's right.
Right.
We'd rather go on to what? Go ahead, Oscar.
Lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
We'd rather not hear the law of the Lord.
Absolutely.
Right?
God. No,
You know what I'm saying? We're those rebellious children. You know what I'm saying? You might have some good children, but then you have those rebellious children. The ones that don't want to hear the law of the Lord. Go ahead, Oscar.
Verse 10. Which say to the seers, see not.
Which say to the people that are telling them these things, go ahead.
And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things.
So prophesy not unto us right things. Don't tell us what you need to tell us, right? Don't tell us what the Lord has set for you to tell us. Don't tell us right things. Go ahead.
Prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things.
Smooth things, just like the white man tells you, right? The white man tells you those smooth things that are like butter. That's what our people want to hear. Most of our people want to hear those smooth things that are like butter. That's what the white man tells you. That's what the white man tells you, to entangle you in his lies. You're going to end up as a veteran with no legs and across the border in TJ.
Damn right. Damn right.
Go ahead, Ashkur.
Prophesy deceits.
Prophesy this. See, don't tell us the truth. We want to hear lies. That's what makes us feel good, right? That's why our people are up in the Christian and Catholic Church, because they be lying to them. You know what I'm saying? So this, what our people? Go ahead, Ashkur.
Verse 11. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us.
So that's it. You know what I'm saying? Our people want to hear lies. They don't want to hear the truth.
Right.
The truth don't make them feel any better. They sin all week to go to church on Sunday to feel better on Sunday. They don't want to feel worse. They don't want to get told that they've been sinning all week. You know what I'm saying? And that's why that's another reason why the Christian and Catholic Church is the one at fault for our people being so away from God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you had a pastor, or you know what I'm saying, if you had a pastor telling you every Sunday that the law is not done away with and that you've been sinning all week, then the people would have a problem with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what is your pastor telling you when you go to church on Sunday? That God forgives you for everything, and that the law is done away with, and that you're good no matter what.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they're the ones that fault for our people being so astray as we are.
Right.
Con. Man, you know what? America America's on a road to destruction. And black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are trying to jump on that ride to destruction with them.
Right.
You know, America should knows that all they've done, whether you call it prophecy or you call it karma, all they've done is going to come back to haunt them.
Right.
The black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians have to understand that it's time to separate. That you don't deal with the card that's about to be dealt with a nation that has hated, robbed, raped, and murdered black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's time that we separate and that we come into this truth and help spread the word. A word that's going to help us wake up from this destruction. Man, we're the ISUPK coming out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York City. Man, we're here every Wednesday speaking this truth, the inconvenient truth. And we're here to wake up our brothers and sisters. And join us every week, because it's important that we bring out this historical form, because through history, we're going to understand the reality of what's going on. And through the Bible, we're going to get understanding of who we are and why we need to separate from this nation of devils that has done nothing but destroy us. This is Officer CHAAZAQ, with Lahab, and we're every Wednesday. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Stay tuned every week. We're going to come back with more of the ISUPK, the Inconvenient Truth, next week. That's our show for today. The water for joining us. Don't forget to log on to the ISUPK.com, pay your tithes, and don't forget we got Chicago barbecue coming up.
Right. July 25th.
July 25th, the Chicago barbecue, man. Sign up, get your hotel, get yourself out there. There's going to be a lecture done by CHAAZAQ, right?
Captain
CHAAZAQ, Salakia, Captain CHAAZAQ. It's going to be a great lecture, man. An important part in you building yourself up for this nation known as Israel, black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. The water for joining us till next week. That's our show for today. Shalom, Israel.